The Town of St. John Plan Commission study session agenda is beginning today, so then this meeting's called to order. Roll call. Oh, we don't have pledge allegiance. Oh, it's a planning session.
Study session.
Study session, yeah. Roll call.
Sorry, John Gill,
Here.
Bob Beloy,
Present.
Joe Gomestego,
Present.
Pete Caladeras. John Dykstra from Robinson Engineering, and
Here.
Attorney Decker.
Here.
Old business.
Item A, Mr. President, is 2024-6 Franciscan Alliance. It's a proposed primary plat of the Franciscan Health St. John Medical Center, located on the east side of US 41, approximately 975 feet south of the intersection of 101st Place and US Highway 41, Zone C2 Highway Commercial. 37.54 acres. Franciscan Alliance Incorporated is the property owner. Maggie Tortolano, Ton and Blank, and Jim Weezer, Weezer and Wiley.
Good evening. You'll recall that we commenced the public hearing last month, and then the public hearing was continued because there was some standards and requirements that had to be met, some engineering considerations that had to be addressed between our engineer and between John, and because there, through some confusion, there wasn't a pre-application meeting, so some of that should have been addressed, and we apologize for that. We're just here, and maybe John could comment. We have Connor, we have our engineer, I believe, and hope he's on Zoom, because it's
Yeah,
really...
I'm trying to.
Okay, if John's trying to bring him in. That's mainly it. There's some final engineering, and I don't want to speak to the technicalities of it, because I don't know them and I don't understand them. But John and Connor have been working on those, I know, as Connor's reported to us, and that's kind of what needs to be, if there's any points tonight that need to be discussed, that's what needs to be discussed. Plus, we had a meeting today, just to let you know, which John Gill participated in, and we thank him for that because he was super helpful, regarding one, kind of like a separate issue regarding a water main easement requirement on 41, and there was still some concern or confusion as if the water main is in or isn't in or needs to be replaced or doesn't need to be, and we'll do certainly anything we're required or needed to do to assist the town in that regard. So that's essentially where we're at. And maybe John's the guy that can help us that don't understand anything. I'm done.
I kind of need a specific question. So I just issued the second review letter today. You
Oh,
probably
okay.
saw that, or
No,
I know
I
Connor
haven't seen
did.
it. Okay.
And then also a SWIP review, which we always do separately. I sent that letter out
Oh,
today
okay.
too. So that, the number of comments that remain, some are conditional, which we know you're waiting on something, or the engineer is waiting on something. Some there were only a couple new comments based on the latest submittal, and then some were just repeat because, for instance, we know you're pursuing the wetland investigation, so I think there's 5 comments that pertain, 4 or 5 that pertain to wetlands, so they just show as being repeated until they get cleared with those findings. So that's an example of what is in the letter that went out today. So besides the, you mentioned the easement, I did include that because that was based on a meeting that we had on March 15th. Connor was in on that meeting, Bill was in that, Bob Beloy, myself, and John Gill, I believe. So it was a Teams or Zoom Teams meeting, and we discussed the easement, the water main, and a dual tap is how we called it, and then Connor drew a sketch and confirmed, is this what town staff was referring to with a dual tap, and we agreed that he had it shown correctly. I know we don't have a picture of that
Right.
to put up there, but we were on the same page about that. And Bob could probably explain why a dual tap, I tend to call it looping. He may call it dual tap, but it allows the water service to the site to have a way in and a way out where it doesn't stagnate, and it has valves that could be shut off in either location if there was a problem of some sort. So that's kind of making it as simple
No,
for something
appreciate it.
that's technical, so, yeah.
Correct. If the water main had to be shut down on 41, there would be a service on the north side of the valve, the inline valve on the 12-inch main, out on the east side of 41. Then on the other side is also another tap service going to your location, which it all will loop around. But if anything had to be isolated for any issues, you'll still have continuous service throughout that facility. That's the importance of that.
Yeah, and that one I do understand.
What water main issues are you questioning? I think
Is there a
our-
12-inch, Bob, is there a 12-inch main there?
There is a 12-inch, and then there's a 6-inch that goes up and runs up behind that building. The old building that
The old
is
building,
there,
the
that
Decker
supplies
tile?
a couple hydrants. So I'm assuming that will be eliminated
Okay,
once you guys start breaking
Okay.
ground and running your utilities.
okay, that's very helpful. Okay,
We've had some issues on that line back there, and issues, I mean, as in leaks. I wouldn't put any trust in that line either, so. And you're proposing an 8-inch line around the whole building anyway,
Right.
so that will just be obsolete, gone.
okay, great. John, I don't know if Connor's on, can you tell?
Yeah, he's
Oh, yeah,
on.
there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me all right? Testing? Testing?
Yeah,
Yep, we hear you.
Connor, could you respond to some of
Perfect.
the comments John had? John Dykstra?
Yeah, I guess John's summary just a moment ago of the comments that he issued today in comment letters were consistent with my understanding that, like you pointed out, there's the ongoing items regarding wetland investigation and NDOT permitting, which, Kimley's actively working on. We just didn't have resolution or finalization to provide to John to clear the original comments of the conditional approval. Makes sense to me with that understanding. We saw the no comments he described. He said there was, I think, maybe like 5 or so, and none of them caused too much concern. And I feel like I understand what is being asked for, and I don't necessarily need further elaboration in the same way I asked for further elaboration after receiving the first comment response letter. So I think coming into this meeting, the only question I had was trying to understand better what the existing water main condition was along 41, because I had seen various documents or emails and meeting minutes either saying that it's a 6-inch running along 41 that needed to be upsized to a 12, or if it's an old 12 that needed to be replaced with a newer 12. But I think that item has also been further clarified during this meeting tonight. I guess to simply summarize, I've been tracking well with what everyone's been saying, and I don't necessarily have any inconsistencies or questions to highlight at this time.
Bob, if I could just interject, is that 12-inch line is it old? Is it new? Is it
It's-
in sufficient shape?
It was installed in 1980, and we have had quite a few issues on that line that I just wouldn't feel comfortable as a town or utility to put a hospital or emergency room there and have you guys hooked up to that line. I would definitely prefer a new water main, or suggest.
Okay. Connor, how soon do you think you'll be able to get your response back to John in his most recent comments that he said that you received today?
Fairly quickly, I suppose, in terms of the like I alluded to, I might be forgetting smaller items, but big picture, it's the new comments like I described, which are, I feel minor in impact and scope, and then the major items that we can resolve being the coordination of the water main, replacement in the easements. I think there just needs to be some additional emails circulated, for example, clarifying exactly that we're on the same page regarding easements, alignments, and location. But once that additional coordination is resolved, I feel like we can resubmit fairly quickly.
Okay.
Connor, if you'd like, we could do a meeting tomorrow via Teams if you need to speak with me.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
I might take a passage of shooting a quick markup PDF, and that might be simple enough. We can go from there.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, from our perspective then, Mr. Chairman, that's pretty much it for now.
Okay. Should I read this letter that I got from Robinson Engineering?
Just a study session. I don't think you have to read that.
That'll do it.
Okay.
Just,
Billy.
I know our schedules have been a little conflicting, but I'd like to get with you and the
Yeah,
petitioner
well-
prior to a public hearing or anything.
Oh,
else.
we will. Maggie and I were talking about that. You'll
Okay.
hear from me very shortly.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Next agenda
Yes.
is B.
Item B, 2024-2 Suncrest Christian Church. Proposed rezone from R2 PUD, single-family residential, to C2 Highway Commercial District of the Suncrest Christian Church property on West 109th Avenue, approximately 290 feet east of Park Place and US 231, approximately 4.86 acres. Nathan Viz, attorney, and Jamie Ward, property owner.
I guess they're not here, yeah. I think they're gonna advertise for the public hearing to rezone this for the next meeting, so the shaded part would be rezoned C2, and then, the other would stay the R2 with a special exception for the church.
Any questions, Mr. President?
Any questions? Not from me.
The
Any
parties aren't here, so there's nothing we can address there, but if you
That's
have
it.
any questions, no? Okay.
No questions. Go to the next.
Item C, 2024. Oh, Doug, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there.
Oh, no, I have familiar here.
James
Right.
Ross.
Nathan's on the list, but
Right.
if there are questions, I'd be happy to.
Yeah. Do you have any?
I do not know.
I don't think we have any questions, Doug. Thank you.
Where's that concept? It's on the screen.
Sorry?
Look on the screen for the concept.
Yes.
Item C.
Yeah, no, I know. I was just looking.
Okay.
Item C, 2024-7, The Grove. Proposed rezone to PUD for a proposed mixed-use development for single-family and multifamily homes, excuse me, at 8404 West 101st Avenue, St. John, Indiana, at the intersection of Park Place and 101st Avenue, on the north side of 101st, Zone R1, single-family residential, approximately 169 acres. Kevin Pasco from Altoff Homes.
Good evening, Kevin Pascal, Altoff Homes, 8051 Wicker Avenue, St. John, Indiana. I'm here tonight for our second PUD rezone meeting for The Grove, our newest residential development project. Last appeared at the March 20th meeting to give a refresher on the project and an update on the changes from the February 7th study session meeting. At the last meeting, there were several comments pertaining to a few materials that we had left out of our initial submittal. So among those were renderings of the general style of the homes that we will have on offer for prospective homeowners, and then listing minimum architectural standards, materials, and features of each home. Both of those items were included in the latest version of the PUD development plan. And we also included more details relating to the lighting plans, which were added to the latest version of the preliminary engineering plans. So we do apologize for leaving those out initially. So I'll just go ahead and start with an update on the well site. So the spot where they will drill, the test has been staked, and it's still currently scheduled for April 15th, as far as I know.
Yeah, I believe they said they were, I spoke to them last week, Sheehy, and they're gonna be, I think they told me 3 weeks then. I don't know if you guys spoke to them since, but,
Not to my knowledge.
okay. Anyway, on the well, we are going to be moving from where the stake is,
Okay.
because we have to have a 100-foot radius around that well. We do not meet that requirement with Renaissance being so close to where we previously staked it. So
Right.
myself and Peerless are gonna go back out there and restake this, move it over to the east, and
Okay.
go from there.
Okay, thank you. Next slide.
Oh, I knew that was gonna happen.
So additionally, we also had a meeting with Bill, Bob, John, and Gabe on March 26th to discuss the comments from the previous meeting and to talk about the land plan revisions that were suggested as part of that. So the main comment with the layout was to move the lots that were west of the ditch to be located exclusively on the east side. So there was a buffer between our project and Renaissance. We did manage to accomplish this after quite a bit of shuffling of the lots and resizing part of the south portion. So we've now got 10 single-family lots at 70 by 130, 59 single-family lots at 75 by 130, 75 villa lots at 60 by 130, and then 88 paired cottage lots, or 176 units at 90 by 130. We also still have the same detention pond layout, the road layout, and walking paths as we've had since the beginning. The differences between the two plans are the elimination of the 80-foot lots and the detention pond on that west side, as I mentioned, and then 15 less villa lots and 19 more paired cottage lots. So we still maintain that same 320 total units with 1.9 dwelling units per acre. And then in regards to the area west of the creek, right now we will plan to use that as some sort of an open park space more fully once we know whether or not the well site will actually go on there. So we have plenty of acreage to work with, so we're not too worried about having one or two amenities in that area, even if we need to allocate a certain amount of land for the well site. Next slide. So the last item I wanted to highlight were the renderings that we included in the development plan, so everyone can get a better idea visually of what we're dealing with. So John, if you could just kind of slowly tick through those. So I want to point out that these are only representative samples of each floor plan and facade that we currently offer. So each floor plan associated with a particular square footage has a handful of styles that go along with it as well. So even though I'm only showing one example of each floor plan, I just wanted to mention that there are dozens of options overall, especially when optional features are factored in. And many of these styles are featured in our more recent projects, such as Walden Clearing, Mill Creek, Summerlin Estates, and soon Streamside. So we do have a wide array of styles that aim to offer diversity both of the exterior design and features, as well as differing floor plans along with that. And the single-family options range from 1,654 square feet up to 3,142 square feet. Villa options range from 1,443 all the way up to 1,905. And then paired cottages range from 1,429 up to 1,609. So again, all of these, with the exception of the paired cottages, have many exterior options, setting all of the models apart, and also offering houses that work for what any given prospective home buyer is looking for. And that's really at the heart of what we strive to accomplish with any of our projects, really, having the most options possible to suit the needs of all demographics and economic situations. So some will look for something on the smaller end of the square footage spectrum, some on the larger end, depending on their needs or preferences. And there's also many optional upgrades that are offered as well, which will enhance the look and value of the homes, as well as distinguishing one from another. And many of these are also mentioned in the development plan as well. Plus, the anti-monotony requirement will also contribute to the wide range of looks for the houses from lot to lot by preventing one floor plan from being utilized or repeated too often or on consecutive lots. So with that, I'd be glad to take any questions or comments you may have, or to go through any documentation that we've submitted.
Questions? No? Do you have any questions? No.
Thank you, Kev.
Thank you.
Item D, 2024-9, Arcadia Phase 2. Proposed amendment to the site plan to remove 2 units and increase the parking by 16 standard parking spaces at 10081 Wicker Avenue, St. John, Indiana. Sophia Panagakis, applicant, Chris Badger of Badger Engineering.
Good evening. My name is Chris Badger. I'm with Badger Engineering, and we're located at 9830 Suite D in Carmel, Indiana. And we're here to talk about removal of 2 of the end units and a replacement with additional parking. When Sophia was looking at different tenants for possibilities, parking came up, and so she was more concerned about the parking than more units. So we did a revision and removed the last 2 units and submitted a proposed 16 additional parking spaces and leaving the front parking lot the same. We did keep it one way, but on the south end, it's a 2-way, but they have room to be able to turn and do T-turns. But if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I do have a question.
Sure.
This is by Arby's.
Yes, Arby's is the first 2 units, and then the therapy place is the second 2 units.
There's already services ran for those 2 units, though, isn't there?
I don't know how far down they
Yes.
went.
There's services
Those
for
will
all
have
the
to be
lots.
eliminated. Those will have to be eliminated.
The services?
Yes.
The last 2 units.
On those,
okay,
yes.
yeah. There's a proposed water stub and a proposed sewer stub, so we'll get those capped and
Yeah.
terminated. Any other questions?
Joe, do you have anything?
I don't have any questions.
No? Pete? No? Don?
I think everybody knew that it was approved before, and it's just a modification to the existing.
Right.
Okay, if there's
Thank
anything
you.
else?
Thank
Thank you.
Item F, 2024-8, the Preserves Phase 7, proposed final plat for 28 single-family lots and 2 outlots at,
Oh, yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, E,
skip
Ravenwood Business Center.
I am very sorry. Item E, 2024-10, Ravenwood Business Center Phase 2, Lot 1, proposed amendment to the site plan requesting a waiver of the ground-mounted transformer at 10103 Earl Drive, St. John, Indiana, Planet Fitness. Recommendation to the town council for a release of the performance surety in the amount of $16,560. Rick Ramondo, applicant, and Nikki Schultz, attorney. Are they online?
Yep.
Hi,
online.
good evening.
Hello.
This is Nikki Schultz. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, good evening and thanks for having us on your agenda. As was just described originally, when the Planet Fitness location was installed, the original site plan required a ground-mounted transformer for the power, and the ground-mounted transformer was not available from the NIPSCO Power Company. So the owner was required to pay $16,560, which was put in escrow by the town as a performance surety. And the idea at the time was that when the ground-mounted transformer became available, it would be installed and the surety would be released. We have supplied for hopefully in your packet, 3 letters from NIPSCO, the most recent of which was just done a few days ago on March 26th. And it confirms that because of supply chain delays, they are not able to acquire any ground-mounted transformers, and they have made the decision that what has been installed, which is a pole-mounted transformer, is going to be the permanent solution there. And so there isn't a way for Planet Fitness to install a ground-mounted transformer through NIPSCO. And so we have submitted a revised site plan. The application was submitted on March 13th of 24, and the revised site plan was provided on March 25th, 2024. That shows the pole-mounted transformer, and because this hardship exists in that we're not able to supply a ground-mounted transformer as originally required, we are requesting a waiver, and we are requesting a recommendation that the town release the performance surety out of escrow in the amount of $16,560 back to the owner, Mr. Raimondo. And I'm happy to take any questions.
I don't have any questions. No,
Nope.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you very much.
See you in 2 weeks.
All right, thanks very much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Item 2024-8, the Preserves Phase 7, proposed final plat for 28 single-family lots and 2 outlots at the White Oak Avenue, zoned RC1 PUD, approximately 15.75 acres, Jack Slager, Schilling Development.
Good evening, Jack Slager with Schilling Development. It's actually 29 lots. I don't know if that's a typo, but it hasn't changed. So it's 29 single-family lots and a couple of outlots. This is the phase that is just south of 93rd Avenue. This will be the final phase up in that northwest corner. Connects Spirea, Sweet Spire, and Fescue. And these are probably some of the nicest lots we've developed out there so far. The 100-foot wide lots back up to the wetlands along 93rd there, and really turn out nice. As of right now, all the infrastructure is in. We are waiting for the asphalt plants to open. I just got word today that they are going to open the asphalt plants next week, and we're supposedly first or second on the list, so we should be paving the streets next week, and that will be the final for the infrastructure to go in there. Other than that, I think everything's tested and approved. We did get the letter from the town engineer. We will get the inspection fee paid before the next meeting, and we hope to receive final plat approval at the next meeting.
no questions.
Thank you, Jack. Item G, Meadow Wall Street LLC, introduction of the development plan. Jack Slager, Schilling Development.
Good evening again, Jack Slager with Schilling Development, representing Meadow Wall Street. John, Chris Raymond is,
He's
he's back.
online, yep.
Okay, there he is. He was texting me saying he couldn't get through. So, also, Chris Raymond is online, the representative from the company that will build and own the proposed building that we're talking about tonight, and some of you saw it at the last meeting. This is a senior housing facility that will be located on north of Wall Street, west of US 41, and east of Patterson. This is an 11-acre parcel that we will be subdividing into 4 lots. The largest lot of nearly 6 acres will be Lot 1, and it will house the senior housing facility. We received a number of variances tonight from the BZA for that facility, and then to round out the development, we will have several 1-acre lots, lots 2, 3, and 4 will come along with it, and they will all be accessed off of a common private drive that goes back to the senior housing facility. This will be a 3-story building. It has 109 units that will be independent living, assisted living, and memory care. And we feel that it's a great user for this site. It has very low traffic count, basically the employees coming and going. It has no impact on the school system, and it's a tax-paying entity for the town. Also falls in the town's overlay district and falls in the town's TIF district. So there's a lot of benefits to this development, and we have had a couple of staff meetings so far to talk about utilities. We will work through the rest of the utilities. Also, the detention pond at the far north end of the site will handle all of this property and the property that we own south of Wall Street. So we will have one large detention facility that will handle all the property, so that each of these lots don't have to have little individual detention ponds as each one comes in. So yeah, if there's any questions about the site or the development, I know we have a number of additional meetings to get through the subdivision process. Once the subdivision process is done, the building owners will have to come in for actual site plan approval for that first lot, for that building. And so they'll be providing additional information at that point as they come back to the Plan Commission for site plan approval. Questions?
Joe? No?
Okay, we'll be back. Thank you.
Item 4, a motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.